whatever you cannot perceive through five senses, if you perceive that, whenever we touch it, we feel blissed out. We do not know how to define or describe it. Human beings will naturally evolve into perceiving higher things. What the plants are exuding, the plant life, what it is doing, becomes very obvious to you. In the yogic system, we look at the human mechanism like this. There are five dimensions to it, there are five layers to it. Usually it's referred to as sheaths, or it's called, that means sheath, one inside the other. One is the physical body, which is referred to as the food body, because this is essentially a heap of food that we have gathered over a period of time. The next is known as the mental body, because we ascribe intelligence to every cell in the body. There is more memory and intelligence in each molecule of DNA than you can decipher through your brain. That much of intelligence and memory is sitting right here. The third layer is called as the energy body. There are three fundamental aspects to it, but it's the first two which normally are experienced by most people, the right and the left, which has 36,000 on the right and 36,000 on the left, pathways or channels, which are described as nadis, which meet in 114 different major points, and these points are seen as possibilities. So, mysticism identifies these 114, the geography, the energy geography of the body, and how you could exploit this to transcend the limitations of the human mechanism. Now, the fourth layer is called as Vijnanamaya Kosha. What the word Vijnana means is, it is coming from two different words, Vishesh, Jnana. Jnana means knowing or knowledge. Vishesh means an extraordinary way of knowing. So whatever you cannot perceive through five senses, if you perceive that, then that is called as Vishesh Jnana or extraordinary knowledge. So, we are talking about a transitory dimension which is transiting from physical to non-physical. So, the fifth dimension, this is in whatever in the New Age language in America, they're saying this is etheric body. It's not an appropriate description, it is a transitory state where physical is fading out into non-physical nature. The fifth dimension is referred to as Anandamaya Kosha, which literally translates as bliss body. This does not mean there's a bubble of bliss or something inside. It is purely non-physical in nature. Because it is non-physical, we do not know how to define or describe it. There is no definition to it, there is no description to it. We're only talking about it from our experience. Whenever we touch it, we feel blissed out. So like children, we're calling it bliss body, because we do not know what is the nature of what it is, and it is not physical in nature, so we cannot put it into definition of words or descriptions or whatever. Now to enter into this dimension is the whole process of mysticism, because this non-physical nature is further classified in terms of our experience, how profoundly you involve in it. They talk like this. You can be in a fine spray of shower from this non-physical and how you will be. Or you can be drenched with it and how you will be. Or you can soak yourself in it and how you will be. Like this it is described. What this means is, these are referred to as different dimensions of stillness. How can stillness be of different dimensions? For example, in our experience, if you're… normally a human being is breathing somewhere 12 to 15 times per minute. Breath is very directly connected to how the mental fluctuations happen. Suppose naturally, not by effort, by doing the right kind of things with your system, naturally if your breath drops below 11, then you begin to understand various reverberations that are happening around you in terms of all the subsonic sounds in which the animals are communicating becomes very obvious to you. If your breath drops below 9, naturally, without controlling it, then what the plants are exuding, the plant life, what it is doing, becomes very obvious to you. If your breath drops below 6, then what the inanimate things, how they're reverberating. This is known as rithambara pragna. That means the reverberations of every form and the sounds attached to it become very clear to you. Or in other words, the nature of the universe can be grasped if you know the language of the inanimate. Every form, how it is made, what is its nature, what it is right now and what it will evolve into, or what it was yesterday and what it is evolved into, all this is becoming apparent to you. As the concerns of survival recede, human beings will naturally evolve into perceiving higher things. But the important thing is the level of static, because breath is a survival process. If you sit still, it goes down. The more still your body becomes, the less you breathe. If you bring your whole system to a certain level of stillness, not being in a hyperventilated state, then your perception goes on increasing.
Namaskaram everyone. Now continuing Sadhguru, do you know that animals like elephant have lifespan of 65 years, whereas tortoise have the lifespan of 80 to 150 years. Some tortoise can even live up to 250 years, and the list of animals goes on like this. Do you know the actual reason behind the longer lifespan of tortoise whereas shorter lifespan of elephant? It is their breath per minute. Elephant breathes 10 to 12 times per minute, whereas tortoise breathes only 4 to 5 times per minute. Now why am I taking the example of animals is that we need to understand that we are no different from all the creatures that creation has made around us. Many of us might be thinking that our body breathes on autopilot, so why worry about how to inhale or how to exhale when you could be mastering your arm balance? For one thing, breath control or Pranayama is the fourth of Patanjali's 8 limbs of Yoga Sutra. And for another, scientific research is showing that mindful breathing, paying attention to your breath and learning how to manipulate it, it is one of the most effective way to lower your everyday stress levels and improve a variety of health factors ranging from mood to metabolism. Now this is not just limited on the physiological or just on the physical level. Actually, it is more than that. Pranayama is at once a physical health practice, mental health practice and meditation. It includes everything. It is not just breathing, it is actually mind training that uses the breath as a vehicle. Now let us understand this through a demonstration. Can you see this? What is this? This is just a piece of cotton. Why I took this cotton is, it is the lightest and the softest material, right? Now in sadhana or in yoga, it is generally taught that one should breathe so slowly that when you keep the lightest of the material, like this cotton, beneath your nostril, it should not flutter. This much slow one has to breathe. Now why this is so? What is the benefit? Now when our breath becomes more and more stable, the disturbances of life is all gone. We are able to clearly see what is happening around us and within us. Either one can achieve this through yogasana or by becoming absolutely meditative. For example, in shambhavi, it is one of the steps in which it is guided to breathe very slowly. If you haven't watched my shambhavi video in which I have covered every bits of shambhavi, you can watch the video after completing this video. I have given the link in the description. Now we can see that with meditation, today our breath may naturally slow down, but tomorrow it may not. But if we prepare our body, the progress is more stable. That is the strength of doing the practices every day. They steadily take you up. Now most human beings are breathing somewhere between 12 to 15 times per minute. That means they use less than 20% of their lung capacity doing the normal breathing. But if you expand your lung capacity, the number of breaths per minute during normal breathing naturally comes down without one controlling it. One practices it so that this type of breathing becomes normal in our daily lifestyle. Of course, intense activity like running or sports activity is absolutely an exception. But if we simply practice breathing like this, which is also one of the part of shambhavi, you will see that your energies will divert themselves in completely different direction. Sadhguru in this video have already explained about how the slow breaths can make you more perceptive at different level. Apart from all these, there are also a lot of researches happening in the breathing techniques of shambhavi. Scientists found that the cortisol awakening response is significantly higher for people who have practiced shambhavi. The BDNF, which is brain-derived neurotrophic factor, also increases. If you have been practicing shambhavi for at least 90 days, 30 minutes every day, after you wake up in the morning, your cortisol awakening response is several times higher than the normal person. And the inflammatory markers gently improve too. And not only this, a research in the DNA shows that after 90 days of continuous practice of shambhavi, through these breathing techniques, we are 6.4 years younger than what we are now on the cellular level. All this has been properly established by the responsible scientists, link of which I have given in the description. If you want to read out the experiment, you can go and read after completing this video. But above all of these things, the most beautiful thing is that the level of calmness multiplies many folds while the brain is still active. This is the unique dimension of shambhavi. If you want to know about shambhavi, what effects it have on the physical level and in the physiological level, as well as in the psychological level, I have talked in this video. If you want, you can watch after this video. I have given the link in the description as well as I button. Now, apart from all these, you might have heard Sadhguru chanting Bhaja Govindam chant, where it says Nischal Tattvam Jivan Mukti. What this means is, if there is an unwavering attention towards something, no matter what the thing is, then liberation, that is the possibility of freedom, cannot be denied to you. In other words, the essential problem of human beings is lack of attention. With keenness and intensity of attention, we can just open the doors to this universe. It all depends on how keen and intense your attention is and how much energy there is behind your every attention. In this context, breath is the most beautiful device because it is constantly on as long as we are alive. The breath is there all the time. You just need to be a little more conscious. So now winding up, hope you all are doing your shambhavi well and hope you all loved this video and found it meaningful. If yes, do not forget to give it a like, share and subscribe. And up to next, stay safe, healthy, happy and namaskaram.